We've got a hot one for you today. Our host, former Eagle player, number 59, three-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl 33, and the host of the Seth Joyner Show, our man Seth Joyner. Our guest really needs no introduction, right? Number 55, known for that strip sack on Tom Brady. Most Eagle games played by any player in the Eagles' history. Two-time Super Bowl champ, Brandon Graham.
And thank you to PHL Marketplace for putting this on. It's an incredible time in Philadelphia to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Wouldn't you all agree? All right. So this was special for me because I've gotten to know Brandon over the last few years, and there's quite a few things that impressed me about him. For you who follow me, you guys know that, my commentary and my analysis sometimes can be a little hard hit. And some of the players don't take that too well. Listen, they got a job to do, I got a job to do. And I got to be true to the fans. I got to be true to myself. It's never personal, it's just my analysis. But what I appreciate about Brandon is that no matter what the circumstances are, he's always been cool with me. The other thing that impressed me about Brandon is his work ethic. And I think some of y'all understand and know that, he tore his triceps, came back, 6-7 weeks later, played in the Super Bowl. That speaks to, his work ethic to get back. But also his work ethic. I can remember playing in a golf tournament with him up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And we were talking, and BG said somebody was asking about his workouts. So we're in Harrisburg. He gets in his car at 5 o'clock in the morning to come back to the NovaCare Center to work out, and then get back in his car and drive back to Harrisburg to play in the golf tournament later in the afternoon. Now that's some serious commitment to your job and what you do well. Give my man a round of applause, please. So BG, the first thing I want to know, man, is how's your health, man? Because, and I don't know, there's a lot of speculation that you retore the tricep in the Super Bowl. I'm just curious how you feel and if there's any validity to that.
Well, first off, thank you for having me, and thank everybody that's here right now. My health is good, and you know what? I knew the possibilities of what could happen. I went out there, I got right, I felt good going into the game. I still didn't even know I tore it until we did the MRI, but man, I just wanted to go out there and just suit up with my guys and get those pictures with my family. When we won, man, it was just so good after the game, being in that uniform, because it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go along with that, like you said. And I'm just happy that all that stuff paid off in the end for us.
Well, congratulations to not only you, but the team as well. On your second Super Bowl win, I should say. In the last 64 years, the Philadelphia Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls. And this man sitting next to me has been on both of those teams. I don't understand, I don't think you really understand, you'll understand until you're done, how, first of all, in 2017, how you guys immortalized yourself in Philadelphia sports history, being the first team in 57 years to win a Super Bowl. And then you turn around and you follow that up with a Super Bowl win in Super Bowl 59 a couple of weeks ago. Talk to me about that feeling. You got it in 17, but you got a chance to experience it again, this year.
Well, I'm just happy I finished strong by getting back for the game this year. 2017 was just special, man, because making a play against one of the GOATs at the time, Tom Brady. We gave up so much in that game, but then when it counted, somebody made a play, and I was just happy that we made a play. And because I don't do it without my teammates, I know that that was a special team just as much as this year. This year was so much special too because I go down and guys just like, man, I got your back. I'm about to step my game up. I'm about to do this. And yeah, you hear it, but to actually do it is something else, man. I was so proud of them boys. The togetherness we grew into. I think we was more sad that it was over because of how well we started playing together. And man, this year was so special too because, man, Zach Bond, somebody that nobody gave a lot of credit to this year. In the beginning, it was special teams guy, this and that, but then, man, he worked his butt off in training camp. Vic believed in him, and then he fit the scheme on what he wanted them to do. And I'm just proud of everybody, man, because everybody had a say in that last game.
Well, we talked about the injury and you coming back. Not only the injury, but also the bounce back, from the collapse at the end of last year. And then talk about the defense, because normally the defense is the side of the ball that normally takes a lot longer to come around. You can make changes on the offensive side, but the defensive side, you got a new coordinator, you got 2 new linebackers that have started, you got a new safety, 2 new young rookie cornerbacks. No one expected for this team to take off the way they took off after the bye. Just speak to how you guys overcame last year's, disappointment to turn it into such a great situation this year.
Well, I think whenever you get somebody new, especially coordinator, we got to believe in his dream. And how we believe in his dream is how we work every day, how we work together every day. And I feel like that's what we did. We stayed healthy for one, because you got to be able to be available for practice. But we broke each other in, where Vic was tough in the beginning, but he started to gain our trust because we started to show him that we don't have any mental errors. We just have to make sure we play the technique better. So we work the technique. And you got to constantly work stuff over and over and over again all year, even when you don't want to, because you might feel, man, we 16-1 or whatever it is, whatever your record is. You can't worry about the record because the job is not done. And I think that comes with the great leaders we had on this team. I think it was, Nick Sirianni going through what he went through, brought us all together too. Keep doing what you're doing, Seth, because people are mad, but but everybody worked because we trying to prove you wrong on top of proving ourselves right. So it goes hand in hand with that. But I think that everybody just believed in it, and we was chopping at the bit. This the first time I really was like, man, I ain't never seen guys make their name how they made their name this year, especially that D-line. When I went down, when nobody gave him a chance, Nolan Smith jumping out, for just showing promise, I would say, and what he's gonna be for the years to come. And man, I just know, man, like I said, we just so sad that it's over because of how everybody did believe in it by how we worked every day, and it made it easier for me as a captain.
Well, you got another year if you want it. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to give you a couple of names. Give me a couple of thoughts. This guy was embattled for the first 4 weeks of the season, from decision making to running with the fans, the kids in the post-game press conference. Nick Sirianni. Listen, I was one of those people that really wondered, was he the guy? And through the first 4 games of the season, maybe even the 6th game, a lot of other people wondered the same thing. But I give him a lot of credit because sometimes coaches can get kind of stuck in their ways, and the way that they are is the way that they're always going to be. And for him to make the kind of change that he made, the growth, the maturity as a head coach in short order over the last 16 games of the season was phenomenal. Just give me your brief thoughts on Nick Sirianni as the head coach of this football team.
Well, Nick Sirianni, I felt like he stayed true to who he was, and that's all it was. Of course, he had trouble when he heard different things because it's hard not to hear it. But I think that for us in this position, we have a duty A lot of people look up to you. The stuff you go through is good and bad, but you got to stand tall through it. And I think Nick did a great job of just standing tall. And I think we respected that. And that's why we had his back, because a lot of people can go through things and start to change because of the pressure of the outside noise. But of course he listened to it, but I think he did a good job of doing something about it. And it started with us as leaders being able to relay his message and still believing in it, even when things not going right. But you got to make sure that you just stay true to what you are. You say that we got to go to get to the Super Bowl. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but in the end, it was definitely worth it if you stay true to you and don't try to be nobody else but your, like Jalen say, control your box, control what you can, because that's all you can do. And if everybody had that mindset, we'll start to be able to develop that togetherness, because I see you working just as much as they see me, and all you got to do is do that. You know, don't talk about it, be about it. And I think that's what Nick was doing, and it rubbed off on us in a good way.
Well, you know, I give him a lot of credit because, you know, the sign of a head coach, a good head coach, is how his players respond to him. And what he did, that maturity, and making sure that he kept all y'all together, and even all the negative stuff that was going on on the outside, staying true to yourself, but also having your players to buy into what you're selling. Because if the players don't see the results, and that's what it really boils down to, is the results. If I'm a head coach and I'm selling my players something, the results is the winning, is the successes. If you're not having the successes and you're not winning, it's hard for the players to buy into what it is that you're selling. So that told me a lot. When y'all just kept winning and kept winning and kept winning, I'm like, y'all can talk about Nick all y'all want to. Just as long as those players believe in him and he's got them players motivated each and every week to go out there and get the job done, it doesn't matter what anybody else says, you know?
I remember you saying that. Trust me, I watch you. Because, like I say, you motivated us to want to prove, wanted you to get to say, nah, Jalen can do this,
right.
This person can do that, whoever you was on. But that's why I say it's how you handle the media, how you go about your business. Yeah, people you got a job to do. We know that. So how we gonna respond to a little adversity on what we think is adversity? It's like, really, that ain't adversity. It's just, man, I'm gonna prove you wrong. And so thank you for helping me go out here to practice today when I didn't want to go out there and make sure I have a good practice.
Well, it's good to know that, you know, it's good to know that I'm helping in some way. Next guy. He's departed now. A little bit in battle through the first 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden with the switch to Saquon being the guy, you know, on the offensive side of the ball until things could kind of get into flow. Kellen Moore and his dynamic with Nick Sirianni and his dynamic with the quarterback, Jalen Hurts.
Well, I think that was a work in progress all year. I think those guys did well for the little time that they did have together. It ended up working in the end. Everybody ended up figuring each other out and what people like. But sometimes you're gonna have adversity going through the year, and I think they navigated through that. And I mean, I'm gonna leave that for Jalen and them, because you don't always see the ins and outs of everything, but I know that they worked to the end. And man, it showed up big in the biggest game, biggest stage, and he was able to give a lot of people opportunity. Like, you know, the receivers, both of them got touchdowns, both of them helped in a big way. Saquon, you know, he got 25 touches, but he didn't do as much as he normally do because that was their game plan, but it opened it up for everybody else, and I think that was a great job of navigating through when you only got so little time before you know, of the time that they had together, because we knew Kellen was gone after this season.
So I really want to shine a light on this next guy, because when he was in Miami, a lot of the players didn't like him, and they was glad when he left. The Eagles wanted him on multiple occasions, but it just didn't work out because of how we were situated in the playoffs. Vic Fangio came in and took over a young team and turned the 30 to 31st, you know, defense in the National Football League last year into the #1 defense in one full season. He's old school, so he's the type of coach that I could have played for. Shed some light on Vic Fangio, his mentality, and how he affected the growth of this football team, of this defensive unit throughout the season.
Well, he had a great supporting cast. I can't just say everybody like it was all him, but he had relayed his message to his coaches. His coaches was great at being able to introduce it to the classroom in order to show everybody what they need to do, and it showed up big when you look at the film on the techniques and stuff that we work every day. And so I would just say Vic came in being himself today, tomorrow, whenever you see Vic, he is always him. He ain't looking for no friends. He just trying to. It's a business relationship. And when we win in the end, he became more like you start to see him smile a little more, especially holding that trophy because you can't give. Because a lot of people, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile sometimes, and you got to know your personnel, know your guys, know your players. And I think he did a really great job of always staying on a guy like Jalen Carter, who's young, might not be as mature as you want to, but you know how big of an impact he is in the game. So you got to continue to keep believing. We got to keep having him believe in the dream too, because sometimes you can get bored with it, and because you're working and you're doing the same thing over and over again. But when you get that success on that field, I mean, it's not by accident. It's what you put in. And so I think with me talking with Jalen, the guy, I'm just thinking of him because that's a guy that I felt took the next step in his game to the next level, especially in practice, lifting weights, doing all the little things that get you to where you're supposed to go. Because a lot of people just think, I'm talented, but talent always don't get you there. Because that junk gonna start to wear down after a while. Your technique and what you work every day, your habits of what you do is gonna start to settle in and really help you when you're older. Like a guy like myself, I got little tricks that some of them young boys ain't doing, and so that give me an extra step. It's all about getting that extra step over somebody. So I try to help these young boys serve them, because you gotta have that service mentality. And I think, that's what Vic brought. He brought that service mentality as we went, and he had us ready, man. Because we had a smart team too. I got to give credit to them guys, because man, in the back end, he asked a lot of them, and to have two rookies that he normally don't play rookies. He don't like you said, old school. He don't like playing rookies, but they earned his trust, and so they got some great years coming, and I'm excited for Vic because he definitely was a big part of that.
Quick, because I'm old school, and I believe in coaching old school. I believe that, players need to be held accountable. I believe that, players need to be coached hard, because I always felt like, if the coach wasn't talking to me, that's not a good sign. Because when the coaches stop talking to you as a player, the next thing to happen, you out of here. But as long as the coaches is talking to you and they're correcting you, then they still see something. But I just believe in, football's a hard game. People don't understand how difficult it is, not only from the physical standpoint, but the intellect that has to go into the game. So I was always used to being coached hard. We live in a different era where sometimes you hear people say, well, he threw the player under the bus. I never lived in that world, because my head coach, he would talk about me in his post-game press conference by name. Now you don't do that, but I do believe that hard coaching and the fact that that's the way that Vic coaches, just you don't let anything slip. You on a guy about his technique, about his responsibility, about everything, and trying to get them to understand how everything connects and how everything plays together. I know that that's the way Vic coaches. He doesn't let anything slip through the cracks. So just for a quick second, just talk about how the team responded to it in this new era of players not wanting to be coached that hard.
Well, you know what? Well, what I can give Vic credit for, what you just said, he called out some guys in the media. In this day and age, these boys, you can't do that. They ain't responding like how I was back in the day when I understand, because I had Andy Reid, and he still wasn't even calling people out, but he had an old school way about him, and it's all about accountability. And Vic, he just did it in private instead of out in the air. And so I think that's where he adjusted his game, and then people responded to it well, because of course you don't want to get called out in front of everybody, especially the media. But I can respect it if it's guys that I'm working with every day. And I think Vic started to realize that, because he got checked a little bit, not even like checked, but you know how the media people come and they give him little pointers. They was giving them pointers to stop airing out everybody, because we understand what you mean. They got to be better, but in order to gain that trust, you got to be able to trust each other and to know, like, I ain't airing your business, don't air mine. Let's do it in private or in front of our team that's actually working with us and knows what's going on. But I think that was a big reason why everybody was together, because, man, you got to have accountability. You got to own whatever it is that you're not as good at, that you got to keep working on. And so those are the things that can get you beat if you don't. But in our case, we was doing that, and it helped us in a big way in the end.
Jalen Hurts, you seen him come in as a rookie. You seen him lose a Super Bowl 2 years ago. Now you seen him win the Super Bowl this year and the MVP. Talk about him from the beginning of the season and how it ended throughout the playoff stretch.
Well, Jalen was always the same. That's one thing I give y'all, because as y'all can see, he always the same. You know, you got to get him to, crack a smile. But I know for him, the job ain't done. And when the job was done, he definitely cracked a smile. And one thing I can respect about him, he took a lot of stuff. Like we always say, heavy is the head that wear the crown. And for him, he in that position. He in the number one position everybody want to be. So you got to know they're going to hold you accountable to a lot of things. And I think he handled himself well. Of course, sometimes you're going to go through adversity, but it's how you handle it, how you come back from it. And for him, I think he had his warriors that he could lean on in a big way to help him during times of trouble. And that's a credit to his village, his people that he got around him, the teammates that he can confide in and go through things with, because we all need somebody. And if you good, you got to find that person, because you ain't going to always be good. And I know that. We know that we all. That's why I try to tell the young boys, get you a vet that you can watch and grow from. And I'm always trying to be there anyway. But everybody not perfect for everybody. But just find your guy and keep it going, because you got here to this last level. Why stop now? This is the last place you can go before you retire. Then you got to go find and do something else. So I tell these boys, don't come here because don't feel like you arrived. You ain't done nothing yet. Wait until the job is done. When you hanging them cleats up, then the job is done for real. Keep that chip on your shoulder. And so it's been cool to kind of see how Jalen has rubbed off on a lot of people, because he had to come out of his shell. Because from first year to this year, he's coming out and done a great job, man. Because, of course, guys sometimes are private people in a prime position. But I think for him, he's learning how to, navigate through that. His personality on top of knowing that these guys trust him and they just want to know all about him. And so he's doing a good job, man, I feel like. And it showed up big in the end.
A lot of people look at Jalen, they listen to him in a press conference, and, they get you can see that he's even keeled. But sometimes people get the sense that there's not a fire that's burning inside of you. And as a player, that's not the case. You can't be a competitor if there's not a fire that's burning inside. But you don't see it. He's not a rah-rah guy. He's not, overly emotional. And a lot of people take that the wrong way. Just talk about that and how that is that a calming effect in the huddle for the offense? Is that a calming effect for the rest of the team? Because some players, like Phillip Rivers, was fiery. I mean, he would talk trash. Brett Favre was fiery. He would talk trash. Peyton Manning would get fired up. Tom Brady would cuss his own players out. That's not Jalen's MO. And people look at that as emotionless and like he don't have a fire that's really burning inside.
Well, how I look at it is, you gotta accept people for who they are. And Jalen is just like that. Like for me, in a conversation, if I'm going back and forth with somebody, I can't show too much emotion because I might forget what it is I'm thinking about. So on my argument, because your emotions can definitely get the best of you, and being able to manage them emotions is an art. And I think I give credit to him, because I've learned a lot from him, because you got to be able to stay composed in chaos, because there's a lot of chaos that be going on in that field. And as a quarterback, you got to make sure you're getting people lined up. You got to know their job better than they know their job. And you got to know where they're going to be before they even know. And I think that's a great job of Jalen, just keeping his personality that, because even when people don't like it, they want to see a little more. But Jalen, that's what make you tick. Keep ticking. Don't worry about. We just buy a watch. We never really look at the details on the inside of a watch as they keep ticking. If this is how you run, that's how you run. Don't let nobody get you out of being who you are, because sometimes we can put pressure on somebody to be somebody that they not. And I think for him, like, he okay with whatever comes with that. Just be you. Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to be me. And on top of that, I'm getting better. Not saying that you is just the best, but it's just like I can see him constantly getting better, worrying about what he can, his business, on what he can do. And yeah, man, like, you got to be able to stay composed in chaos, and that's his way of doing it. And so that's how I look at it. I look at it as a good thing, because that's the quarterback. You got to be able to think in them high pressure moments.
Right. So I got to ask this question. Answer how you like.
Yep.
The comment about Jalen and AJ. And listen, I know you're a savvy vet, but when you said what you said, I was one of your cheerleaders, to be honest with you. Now, was it a calculated move or a misstep?
It was. We was just talking emotion, right? That's me. My emotions got the best of me in that moment, because I just wanted him to just go, if we all got problems, I'm gonna come to you, Seth. I ain't gonna do it in front of this. We gonna talk.
Right.
And that's all I was saying, because I understand it is a frustration. But I just didn't want us to mess it up as a team, to have a distraction, turn bigger than what it should be, when we could just have a conversation in private, whatever it was. I know they handled it now, but it's just more that at that time, my emotions got the best of me, and he asked me a question at the time. I wasn't as contained as I needed to be, and I was flirting at it, and then it became bigger than what it was. But that's all I was really saying. It's just like, don't let the media, let's not give them no ammo on what we got going on, because we're working too hard to get this Super Bowl, and let's not let a misstep. It was a misstep on my part, because I'm a vet. I know better, but like I said, that's why you got to make sure you keep them emotions in check, because I wasn't thinking at that time. I just reacted, and I know I owned it. Apologized to the team. I felt like that was a big moment of our team on how we responded, and everybody didn't flinch. I apologized to who I needed to, AJ, the team. We all, kumbaya, and then we just moved on. And that's how you want. That's what you want. You want people to move on and not let stuff linger, because stuff gonna happen.
Well, I'm gonna say I loved it, because I looked at it like, and I'm not trying to put any words in your mouth, any words in your head or anything, but I loved it because I felt like, in light of what happened last year, you get to 10-1 and then the bottom falls out. You see, as a veteran, as a seasoned veteran, 15 years, you see the potential for where this team can possibly go. But there's a small conflict here that the only way that we can get it resolved is that everybody comes together and talk about it. And I feel like what you said forced not only Jalen and AJ to come together and talk about it, but for Nick to step forward and pull them together and not have it create another Donovan and T.O. type situation.
We gotta choose a side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that. It's just like them two, they need to handle their business, go do that. And that's it. And then we move on. And now it's like, now we a united front together than it is, I'm team this person, team that person. And so that was a big moment.
At what time of the season, at what point did you realize that the defense was going to be as good as it was?
Baltimore.
The Baltimore game?
Baltimore. Like because that was a big game right there where they do a lot of misdirection, a lot of eye candy stuff where you got to make sure that you go where your guy go, stay on your guy, because Lamar can definitely slip right up the middle. And so I think everybody contained them well. The D-line rushed them, wasn't scared. How like sometimes you can kind of rush cautiously, and then you don't have no rush because you're not taking your shots. And so I think that showed me a lot on how we contained them. Them catches by the tight end, that was like 50-50. I'm like, I'll take my guy the next time, any given day. But I just felt like that game right there, it showed me, they showed up big, and the offensive side too.
Right. All right. So the last couple of questions are going to pertain strictly to you.
All right, y'all, I'm out of here.
So let's go back to the beginning, how it began and how it ended for your career. I wasn't around in the media during that time when you first came in. Probably a good thing, because I probably...
Oh, man. I would have been one of them other guys. Like, where's Seth at? He at the airport? Okay, I'm on my way.
Talk to how you survive the naysayers and how you stay resilient and turned yourself into one of Philly's favorite sons. Because it takes a lot of mental strength, a lot of mental toughness to go through what you went through at the beginning of your career, stay on track, and continue to get better and get better and get better, and then be a part of 2 Super Bowl wins.
Well, you know, I got to go with my faith, number one, then my foundation of people that, you know, God put in my life. And on top of that, the other players like Trent Cole, and at work, my work relationships that I had with some of the guys that knew what I was going through, seen potential in me, but just knew I just tore my knee. And a lot of guys that they had, that they could have grabbed before me, went to the Pro Bowls, All Pros, Earl Thomas. That was a hard name to shake for a while. But I think it was just the foundation of people that I had around me coming off of my injury, because I was stressed. I was stressed in the beginning, but all you can do is what you can do, and that's control those controllables. Like, we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow, but I promise you I'm going to be the best person I can be today, try to get better at what I know, stuff that pop up in my life that I know I'm weak at, and I try to be a little better. And so I think that developed over just hearing guys older than me, talking with them. They already going through some stuff, hearing their stories. But that's why I try to pour into these young boys now, let them know, y'all see the end part, y'all see everybody loving this, but at one point I almost made an emotional decision and got out of here because of that feeling of everybody don't want you here. All right, bet, I'm gonna go somewhere else then. I ain't gonna be where I wanted. But the person, the people, foundation, the people that I had around me, like, nah, you just make them pay for it, you know. And if you get another opportunity, make them pay for it. Don't run from it. And so, in that case, me, I'm always talking stuff, so I kind of took it as a challenge. And that's still to this day why I did what I did by leaving, making sure I got that chip on my shoulder. I got to go work out. I got to get right, because I know for me, if I don't, like, you know, I like to eat, so I gotta make sure I stay fit, because we get weighed in every week, and you don't want to pay that fine. And I gotta always handle your business. That's pretty much what the guys were saying. Handle your business, and then see what happens. Give yourself a chance, but put everything in it. And that's what I did. And you know, like I say, my faith on top of the foundation of people I got around me, and just putting that work in every day, and it just started to happen. It started to happen, and as it was happening, don't get the big head, just stay focused, stay with it, keep serving, and that's what I did. That's what I do, and I think that's why I've been here 15 years, serving the guys, because I know I'm going to need them, and I needed them in a big way this year because I got hurt, and them boys stepped up, and I think it's definitely because of the conversations you've had, the stuff in private, all that stuff matter, and it's no. I tell these guys all the time, like, stuff come on my heart, I just come talk to you. I don't know why, I just did it, but sometimes it be right on point, and you know, you talk somebody off of legs because you ain't know they was going through some stuff. So if you got something on your heart, speak it, and that's why I tell them boys now, like talk about it. You know, we all go through the same thing, and I think that's what really helped me, man, having those conversations, because as men, we're not as vulnerable as we need to be with each other. And we all going through the same things, and you might go through something and we might react to it differently, but I might have a better way of how I did it that might fit with what on how you can go about it the next time. So I just tell these boys, you never know. I'm not in it I've been to the top. It's lonely, you know, it's cool when you got others with you. So that's why I'm proud of them boys. I tell them that so many times. If you ain't heard it enough, I'm proud of y'all, and we need everybody, the fans, the people in this airport. Like, you know, we need y'all to be happy so that when we walking through, I mean, I try to get somebody a smile, because you never know what they've been through with the customers they got to deal with. All that stuff matter, but that's why I think I got help, because a lot of guys was giving me that affirmation and that good stuff that I needed at a time where I was too worried about what I wasn't doing and what I was not saying what I was gonna do, and that was just gonna fight back. So I think the people around me, I had a good foundation.
Hey, listen, man, that's why Philly loves you, man. Because, you know, 100%. Because I see him live it every single day. I see a lot of guys, people will ask for an autograph or ask for a picture, they don't have time. every person that walks up to Brandon Graham and asks him for an autograph or asks him for a picture, he has the time. And I know his guy, Matt, his handler, you know, be going through it. Because, I mean, every couple of steps, you know what I'm saying? Dana, I know you flashed me 5 minutes, but we might finish up a little sooner, especially after I ask him this next question. Listen, I know how you're going to probably answer. I watched you this year. You know, you got a lot left in the tank, bro. A lot left in the tank. I was heartbroken to see you get hurt because, in my opinion, you was playing the best I ever seen you play in year 15. You got another year left in you, man, or you going out on top? I just gotta ask. Everybody want to know.
I know.
And listen, I'm not trying to break any news. I'm not trying to break any news or anything. Everybody just want to know, man. And I know you got young kids, you know, 15 years, that's a lot for, you know, your family to go through. You know, it ain't easy doing what we do because once training camp starts, I used to tell my family, don't even call me until the season's over, so.
Nah, but me and Howie, I've been letting them just kind of breathe a little bit, try to get this team figured out, and we're gonna have our talk. And we're gonna sit down, and you know, hopefully we smiling, and you know, after some cries too, because it's gonna be a choice that I feel like I'm gonna involve everybody, you know, my family for sure, and then the organization, because I do feel the same way you feel. I feel the same way, and so yeah, I'm gonna just say that because. Right now, we just haven't had that conversation yet, but it's coming soon because we got a plan already. We've been talking, but it's nothing set in stone yet. I just been watching and seeing how he's going about his business right now. Like happy we got Zach Bond, a couple guys back, and then we're gonna see what they feeling about me.
All right, so I need y'all to give me a little juju, you know. So I'm doing this to y'all. I need y'all to give a little juju to BG to get him to come back next year. Listen, man, whatever it is you decide to do, man, you will always be one of Philadelphia's heroes, man.
I appreciate y'all.
You've had an awesome career. If this is the end, and the fans of Philly, and I celebrate you as a Super Bowl champion for the second time. Thank you for joining us today, man.
Thanks, Seth.